Tonight, multiple people charged with drug driving offences in the Spencer Gulf, and the iconic Broken Hill Festival to go ahead in a different but still very glamorous fall.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. An alarming number of drug drivers have been caught behind the wheel this week right across the Eyre Peninsula. Police warn the dangers they risk to themselves and other drivers, especially on high-speed regional roads. Sophia Contagonis has the story.
5 men have been detected for drug driving in rural South Australia over the past week. The first, a 26-year-old, stopped for a roadside drug test in Port Lincoln last Tuesday morning. He allegedly returned a positive result to cannabis. Police also stopped another man on Friday night who allegedly had methamphetamine in his system and an ice pipe in the car. Both drivers issued with a 24-hour driving ban and could face further charges. Police say over the past year they've detected 527 drivers who tested positive to drugs, with the youngest just 18 years old. The RAA frustrated, saying driving under the influence can be extremely dangerous.
Drugs and alcohol in the system dramatically affect drivers' behaviour in terms of performance, understanding and their cognitive ability.
Another, a 20-year-old Coffin Bay man fined after blowing a blood alcohol reading of 0.078, also alleged to have drugs in his system. A 41-year-old also arrested for drug driving while unlicensed, breaching bail and failing to comply with a direction notice issued previously. And another 42-year-old man found allegedly driving under the influence of cannabis.
It really is a concern, particularly in the regional areas where we know people have got long distances to travel, and of course high speeds are involved on our regional roads as well.
Police urge anyone who sees any instances of dangerous driving to come forward, with one call possibly preventing tragedy. Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Authorities are currently searching for 2 people in a stolen vehicle who were last seen around the Port Augusta area. SAPOL says the pair's travelling from Queensland in a white Hilux with a black toolbox in the tray and evaded the checkpoint yesterday. The man and woman were seen at Hooker this morning and are said to be in possession of a firearm. The man, Alex Blake, is aged in his early 30s, last seen wearing an orange and blue high-vis top, long dark pants and a cap, while the woman was wearing a black short-sleeve t-shirt and has dark shoulder-length hair. Authorities urge anyone who sees them to not approach them, but to call police immediately. A 38-year-old man has been charged with multiple offences after being detected speeding on the Lincoln Highway yesterday. SAPOL says the man was travelling at 136 kilometres an hour in a 110 zone while disqualified from driving, and when stopped tested positive for methamphetamine. He was issued a fine, had his car defected and has been summoned to appear in court. A driver has had a lucky escape after crashing their car into a fence on Sunday morning in Port Augusta. Neighbours reported hearing a car hooning around the time, followed by a loud bang. While the drivers understood to have come away unscathed, the fence not so much. Police say if anyone witnesses people driving dangerously, to contact them. While the main event has been postponed until next year, the Broken Hill Festival will have a mini celebration next weekend. With live performances and shows streaming online, the glitz and glamour is not going away.
It's the biggest weekend on Broken Hill's calendar.
Never know how much I love you. You never know how much I care.
But like many events, the Broken Hill Festival has been affected by the coronavirus. The 2020 instalment pushed to September next year. Organisers not hanging up the sequins though. A celebration on this year's dates will go ahead, albeit in a COVID landscape.
We're only down to 49, like according to the 1 person per 4 square metres rules, and everyone will be, seated. Each of the groups will be seated separately accordingly.
It starts on Friday night with an interactive interactive screening of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
You sort of get given a goodie bag at the start of the movie, and we sort of cue you in when you sort of participate in that movie.
The Palace's own Tom Henderson will be hosting across the nights as his drag character Amanda Screetley. Saturday night will see live performances at the venue along with live streamed shows from other drag queens in Australia.
It's good to see that the festival is still going to be in people's minds and in people's homes for the first time ever.
Tom will also be suiting up as the Rocket Man himself, belting out some Elton John. And Sunday will be the recovery session with the Bloody Mary Moo Moo breakfast.
Everyone encouraged to get into their fabulous moo-moos for the day, and we have got drag bingo with Amanda Screetley and Laurie White kicking off at 2 o'clock, sort of running through the afternoon.
Tickets are on sale. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, how the Carrapateena mine is supporting young people to enter the workforce, and a rugby player spreads a safe gambling message. Welcome back. Since its conception, Oz Minerals has been working in partnership with the traditional owners of its Carrapateena mine site. The Cookatha people say the relationship and opportunities the site brings are both positive.
Working alongside the traditional owners of this land for more than half a decade.
It's been a great partnership. We've been working with them guys now since the agreements and stuff emerged at about 2014, I think.
Traditional names are in use throughout the site, with more currently in talks.
We're working on that right now, so there'll be multiple words for Google the meanings for buildings, roads and places. So there, multiple names.
Anything we can do, big and small, in ways like that, to be able to show the respect that we have for the land and also for the people who are the traditional owners for the land, I absolutely think we should do going forward.
For the past 3 years, TAFE SA's tailor-made training program has resulted in job-ready graduates.
To build a purpose-built Oz Minerals tailored program to help bring mine-ready young Indigenous or of any age Indigenous people from Port Augusta and the Upper Spencer Gulf to work at Carrapateena.
And progress so far has been labelled a success.
Pleased to offer 4 contract jobs to some graduates from that program, and we've recently given 2 of those graduates full-time Oz Minerals jobs with us, and they won that job on their merit.
It's showing in our community where you've got multiple people employed. You've got kids are going to school now, and so it's just that roll-on effect.
Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
South Australia's export performance has seen an increase over the last financial year, up by 3%, reaching $5.6 billion in 2019-2020. However, the nation's exports saw a decline by over $600 million, the first time values have fallen in a decade. Wine remained the most valuable export within South Australia, but recorded a 1.9% decline in value. Wheat and lentils were the state's strong exports, with a total increase of just over $300 million, while sheep meat and wool saw a decrease of around $120 million. A former NRL player is travelling across the Far West region this week, spreading the message around safe gambling. With licensed venues back open to patrons, incidents of problem gambling in regional communities are rising.
Taking a healthy approach to problem gambling and getting people to seek help. That's the message being spruiked by Ashley Gordon.
The more we can promote a service that you can talk to someone, hopefully that'll filter out to other people, and before to know it, we're seeing more people that should be here.
The former NRL player has witnessed firsthand the impacts of problem gambling. He now works with Wurraree Safe Gambling Service, providing support to Indigenous communities.
Really trying to get help for people that are struggling with gambling at the moment, and obviously that's linked to a lot of other important issues, which is around domestic violence and drug and alcohol and mental health. So it's all connected for me.
Partnering with Lifeline Broken Hill, Ashley is visiting far west towns like Menindee and Wilcannia, which have seen millions of dollars lost to pokie machines.
Get that message out there, especially to a lot of people in remote communities, that it's okay to have a punt or have a gamble, but do it responsibly where it's not affecting you, your family or all your loved ones around you.
If you or anyone you know needs help, contact Lifeline on 1311 14. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us, still to come after the break. Our local Whyalla legend shaves his head, all in the name of charity. And Aboriginal art workshops inspire creatives to make traditional pieces. Welcome back. A Whyalla tradie has made a major sacrifice, shaving 5 years of hair growth into a mullet to raise money for charity. So far, Tom Balderstone has raised almost $500 for the Black Dog Institute, a national charity supporting those suffering from depression and anxiety.
These luscious locks of hair gone with a snip of the scissors. Tom Balderstone cutting off his curls, raising money for a cause that hits close to home.
I've seen sort of firsthand what mental health can do to some people, and it's a good cause, and the Black Dog Institute are a really good institute, and they do a lot of good work for mental health around the country.
This big event is for the organisation's Mullets for Mental Health Month, which offers support to those suffering. Lawrence Sigmund's Hairdressing and Hair Jordan offering their services, with Tom surprised by the amount of donations he's already received.
I've been raising money for about the last month now. I set a goal of $500 and we're up to about $470, so we raised it for the next month of September, so hopefully we can reach our goal.
His partner of almost 2 years with him every step of the way, filming this momentous moment. Not a fan of the mullet, Kyra soon warmed up to the idea once realising what it was for.
She's probably going to have a bit of getting used to for the haircut, but I'm sure she'll enjoy it, and then it's for a good cause, so she won't be up too upset.
I am really proud of him. I've seen firsthand what mental health issues can do to people. So yeah, I'm really proud of him for jumping on board to support such a great cause.
Thankful for the support, Tom encourages others to jump on board the mullet train or visit his Facebook page to donate.
It was really exciting to get that much money as quick as what we did. I wasn't really expecting it to come in as fast as it did, so it was really good, and the support from the community was really good.
Any amount helps, even just sharing the link, anything like that.
Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Port Augusta's CBD will have some new signage coming to its streets. Works are currently underway by contractors to install heritage signs along Commercial Road and the east side foreshore. While works are underway, the council is asking the community to be mindful of the safety barriers that are currently in place. 3 Aboriginal artists have shared their traditional knowledge and skills at workshops over the weekend. Participants were able to learn how to weave, make jewellery and carve boomerangs.
Hard at work in the sunshine, locals and tourists gathering for the 2-day Arid Spring celebration.
We've had some come up from Oru and Laura to participate, so that was really good too, to have people from the region.
Coming together at the gardens, mesmerised by the skills of our local Aboriginal artists.
Elders, children, and we've had youth, so it's just been right across the board, and people just making new friends and just spending time together. I think it's just awesome for our community.
They're going to learn fine motor skills basically, and to be very patient with the work that they are producing, because it is very hard to pick up at first.
And learning new ones for themselves.
Today we are weaving earrings. I'm learning how to do a blanket stitch.
Roy Coulthart taking on some eager new students. He's been carving since he was a boy.
10-year-old, I worked with my dad, worked with my grandpops, uncles, and then I kept doing it.
Roy is hoping to pass on his legacy for generations to come.
You're going to have kids one day, and you'll need to teach them. You need to show them the Aboriginal way too, and tell them a story how the older people lived back in the early days.
Saying there's nothing better than sitting in the sunshine making a boomerang.
It's good for, I suppose, good for the health, and you're sitting down yarning, talking.
Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Pat will have the wrap-up of local sport and we'll have the weather with Brit. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. The recent round of Broken Hill tennis has seen 2 convincing wins and 1 close nail-biter. Here's Patrick Reinke with the wrap-up of the region's sport.
It was a match between 2 early final favourites, the serves and the backhands, going head-to-head in the latest round of Silver City tennis. The game came right down to the final set of the night, with the serves prevailing by 6 games. Nathan Crabb was in blistering form, dispatching Rusty Power 7-1. The other games were one-horse races, top spins smashing the smashers, and volleys took all the sets over forehands. Switching to soccer now, and despite being locked at 1-1 at half-time, Savoy couldn't upset Elizabeth Downs, conceding 3 second-half goals. Jack Scoot once again scoring for Savoy. He continues to lead the league's Golden Boot Award with 17 for the season. In the NPL State League, Northern Demons fought hard against Pirates FC but fell short by 1 goal. Peter Capurso was tremendous up front, finding the back of the net twice. The Demons face a tough challenge this week when they take on the Gawler Eagles. In Whyalla and Westland's Daniel Arbin had a game to remember, scoring all of his side's goals as they downed Westlands 4-2. Croatia put on a clinic when they took on Steel United, the score 8-1 at the final whistle. Finishing off with a look at the netball, and in Broken Hill, St Joe's Jesters continued their dominant form, thrashing their opponent 52-2. West Flames Red caused an upset result, defeating second-placed Williama Red in a low-scoring affair. Williama will try and get back into the winner's circle tonight when they face West Flames Black. And finally, back in Whyalla, Kiwi capped off the regular season with a convincing win over Ravens. Kiwi will square off against True Blue in the first semi-final after they overcame the Warriors. The last game saw YCW have no problem beating Rupina. And that does it for another big week of local sport. And if you want your sports results mentioned in our bulletin, contact our Facebook page.
And now for a look at what's happening in the weather on the first day of spring, here's Brit.
Thanks, Louise, and happy first day of spring. Despite another wintry morning with a sub-zero low recorded at Snowtown, it warmed up into the early 20s around most parts today. Woodna reached the region's high of 23 degrees, Port Augusta and Whyalla both 22 today. 21 degrees was the high at Port Lincoln, Kadina, Cleve and Coffin Bay, with a top of 20 recorded at Broken Hill and Port Pirie. Over in Adelaide, it reached 19 today. From the satellite, we saw mostly sunny starts to the new season with wispy jet stream cloud moving in through the day. A cold front to our west has led to a severe weather warning being issued for tonight, with possible damaging winds overnight about the mid-north. Speaking of warnings, let's take a look at tomorrow. We'll start with the Gulf waters, with a marine wind warning in place for the Spencer Gulf. Winds north to northeasterly at 15 to 20 knots, increasing up to 25 knots late morning, and again up to 30 knots in the south later in the day. Seas up to 1.5 metres, with south to southwesterly swells at 1 metre. So now let's see what tomorrow is looking like near you. A possible shower forecast for Port Lincoln, otherwise partly cloudy with a high of 18 degrees. Wind easing at Cleve, mostly sunny there with a top of 21 tomorrow. Woodna mostly sunny with a high of 22 degrees. Sunny at Whyalla tomorrow with a top of 24 degrees. Port Augusta mostly sunny and warming up too with a high of 27 degrees tomorrow. Wind easing at Kadina, sunny with a top of 20 degrees. Port Pirie sunny tomorrow, looking at a top of 24 degrees. Clare wind easing but sunny with a top of 19. And strong winds with possible raised dust at Broken Hill, otherwise mostly sunny with a forecast top of 29 degrees. Taking a quick look further through the week now, Thursday showers about the lower Eyre and York peninsulas. Fine and partly cloudy elsewhere with strong winds expected about the west coast. Broken Hill also windy with a top of 24 degrees. Port Augusta 22, Whyalla with a top of 20 degrees. Woodna and Port Pirie both 19, Kadina with a high of 18 degrees, Port Lincoln just 16. Friday mostly fine across the region apart from possible showers about the lower Eyre Peninsula. Maximum sitting in the late teens. A high of 19 for Port Augusta, Broken Hill, Woodna and Port Pirie all with tops of 18 degrees. Whyalla, Kadina and Port Lincoln all looking at a high of 17 degrees. And a similar outlook for Saturday. Showers about the lower Eyre Peninsula, but otherwise fine and partly cloudy across the Spencer Gulf and Broken Hill regions. Woodna with an expected top of 21 degrees, Port Augusta 20, Port Pirie 19, Whyalla, Port Lincoln and Broken Hill all with tops of 18 degrees, Kadina with a high of 17. And Louise, with spring finally here, I'm crossing my fingers that today was the last of those chilly winter mornings.
And so am I, Britt. Thank you so much for that. And that's your local news for this Tuesday, the 1st of September. Thank you, as always, for joining us. We'll have updates later. Until then, have a lovely and safe evening. Good night.